So I'm sure you guys have heard of a little website known as Twitter.com, easily the place with some of the worst takes on the entire internet. And today is no other than another terrible take from a Twitter user. I don't know if you guys know who DJ Vlad is. I haven't heard about him. Apparently he's like a interviewer, and he recently came out with a tweet where he's pretty much saying if you're playing video games for a long time, it's a form of depression. And it sparked this huge discussion on the internet, and I think it's something we should talk about in today's video. You will not believe DJ Vlad's excuse to some of the replies to his gaming is a form of depression. Only 18% of the people watching this video right now are actually subscribed to the channel. Don't be part of the 81%. Subscribe to the channel, you have nothing to lose. So DJ Vlad tweeted out, "As an adult, playing video games for long periods of time is a form of depression. If you don't believe me, ask yourself this. Think about the top 100 greatest moments of your life. Do any of these moments include games? Probably not." And this comes from a lifetime gamer. Yeah, a lifetime gamer, suppose. So let's go over his arguments in title. As an adult, playing video games for a long time is a form of depression. Now, what would most people consider a long period of time? And that's the thing he doesn't clarify. Like, I think we can all agree if someone is playing video games for like 12 hours a day, and you know, it's not on like a day off or on the weekend. Even on the weekend, that's a little extreme, but let's say like 12 hours a day. That's pretty extreme. I guess you could say that maybe that's linked to some form of mental health problems, maybe like depression. And then other people's would say, you know, playing a video game for 2 or 3 hours a day is too much. And I'm kind of in between on this. Like, yes, I agree. If someone is playing 12 hours of video games every day, then yeah, they probably have some type of problem, and it would probably be the best if they got help. However, yesterday I played games for like 6 hours, and if anything, you know what, yesterday I was having kind of a shitty day, and then I played video games for like 6 hours, and I felt much better by the time I went to bed. And so, did I play it because I was sad, or you know what I mean? Like, it didn't make me sad. If anything, it made me feel better. So I guess that's the thing. It's like some people play video games for a small amount of time and have a problem, and other people play it for a long period of time and have very successful lives. So him not saying what a long period of time is, I think definitely makes people assume the worst, when there's plenty of people, like I said, who play video games for multiple hours a day that are doing just fine in life. And that's what a lot of the replies were saying. You know, they're playing like 4 to 8 hours a day. I mean, even 8 hours is a little extreme. I mean, yesterday it said that I played games for like 6 hours in total, but that wasn't actual in total. That was just because I left my console on, and it gives me, you know, reminders of the time. So I played for like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours in total, and I felt completely fine. So I don't agree with that, saying a small portion of time is a problem at all, and for the majority of people it's not. But yeah, if you're playing 12 hours a day, I can see how that could be a problem. And he says, ask yourself this. Think about the 100 greatest moments of your life. Do any of those include games? Probably not. And I don't know about him. He says he's a lifetime gamer, and 100 of his greatest moments in life have nothing to do with video games. Now, maybe it's different for him because, you know, he's an interviewer and he goes and talks to people. But for me, I can 100% say that some of the greatest moments of my life have involved video games. You know, whether it's playing with your friends in a midnight chat where you guys are all cracking jokes, and you know what, playing video games with my friends have made me laugh some of the hardest times I've ever laughed. And that would have not happened without video games. Now, he says in a reply to that, well, that was just because you're bonding with your friends, and that had nothing to do with video games. And I think that's kind of a straw man. I mean, obviously, I get what he's saying. Like, yes, I appreciated the bonding time, and that was one of the parts. But the bonding time with my friends and, you know, having laughs and cracking jokes would not have happened if we weren't playing video games. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't sit on Discord with people just for background noise. You know, I'm doing stuff in my life, and when we all get together, it's to play video games. So if video games brings us together and makes us have a good time, I mean, I don't see any problem with that. It's, you know what, 100 of my greatest moments of life, I'd say there's probably more than a few that have to do with video games and, you know, bonding with my friends. And then that's the other thing. It's like he says that it's just because I'm bonding with my friends. Well, I can count more than a few times where I play games by myself, whether it was like a single player game, that I consider some of my favorite moments. I'd say like playing through Red Dead Redemption 2 by myself. That was one of my favorite video games of all time. I consider it a top 5. I don't know about you guys, but that game's fire. And then I remember back in like 2018, 2017, I was quite young, you know, I was like halfway through high school, and during my summers, I would stay up to like 2 to 5 a.m. playing through Life is Strange. If you guys haven't heard, it's like a storytelling game, the first one, and I stayed up to like 4 a.m. playing through it. Like the only time I'd play that game was after midnight until I went to bed, and that was one of my favorite moments of life. Something about being sleep deprived, playing a game that was, you know, great storytelling with great characters. That's one of my favorite moments. And so I definitely can say with ease that some of my top moments in my life have been because of gaming. And you know what, I feel bad for this guy because he says probably not for him. He doesn't have any top 100 moments playing video games, and he says he's a lifetime gamer. And I don't know, this seems like such a silly argument from him, to be honest. Like, I get what he's saying, like super long forms of time. I think we can all come together and say if you're playing like 8 to 16 hours of video games every single day, then there's probably a problem. You know, you might have, you know, struggling with mental health, and I mean, that's okay. You should definitely get help. But you know what, society has this problem with escapism in video games. You know what, there's so many forms of escapism. You know, people go to the movies to watch Marvel films about superheroes. That's a form of escapism, I find. And you know, people binge watch TV shows, people do all these things. You know, how about any of those? How about, you know, some people use their hobbies to help fight depression, and you don't hear society or anyone making a big deal about that. But when it comes to video games, they're still stigmatized as in, hey, there's something wrong with this, you know, because you're playing in front of the screen. Honestly, I think it's one of the believe it or not, the socially healthiest things I do, because I interact with people the most when I'm playing video games. You know, I'll sit on my voice chat and I'll talk to my friends, and sometimes that's the most interaction I'll get. Like, I work from home right now, so I'll see my friends, you know, a couple times a week, maybe a couple times every other week. And you know what, that's fine and dandy, but I only interact with them socially, like here and there. Whereas in playing video games, I'm very social, and if anything, I'd say it helps, you know, fight off any forms of depression. You know, being social and talking to people and interacting with people, you know, doing things in groups, having a good time with your friends, 100% helps fight depression. So when he says playing video games for long periods of time is a form of depression, I have to disagree with him. But then I also have to agree with him, because like I said, if you're playing it for too long, it could definitely be a problem. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.